Hey everyone, first off, I just want to thank you all for helping me reach 2,500 subscribers. A while ago I promised that when I reach this milestone I will review the classic children's series of Backyardigans. If you don't know, I loved this show as a kid, and I want to take some time to look back and review. Today I'm going to see if the Backyardigans is really as good as I remember it to be. And I thought the best episode to start with was the episode It's Great to Be a Ghost. This episode has always been one of my favorites, so I'm looking forward to this video. Also, remember to like and subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss a new video. So without further ado, let's get to it. The episode starts out with Pablo walking around the backyard. That's funny, sounds a lot like me. Ever wondered why our grass looks so flat? When we get to surface level, one might assume Pablo is pretending to sleepwalk. Or maybe he actually is, because believe it or not, people usually tend to sleepwalk with their eyes open. It turns out Pablo is acting like a ghost because
it's great to be a ghost.
Pablo starts singing about how it's great to be a ghost, and about how ghosts say boo and all that. Just then, Tyrone and Uniqua come outside to play hide and seek, like any 2000s kid would, and Pablo decides to test out his scaring skills on them. Pablo hides behind a tree and lets out a ghost sound, which frightens Tyrone. Uniqua is confident, but Tyrone is nervous. They follow the sound, and that's when Pablo sneaks up behind them and scares them. Uniqua wants to be a ghost as well, but Tyrone says that ghosts make him nervous. They begin to sing again, of course, because they're the Backyardigans, and this is only 25% of their singing for this episode. They decide to go to a haunted house, per Tyrone's request.
I didn't mean it that way.
Their backyard does a typical transformation, and why has Pablo's right foot disappeared? Well, I guess that would explain why he once had a peg leg. Oh, and now they turn blue.
Yo, listen up, here's a story about a little guy that lived in a blue world.
I can see right through you. Yeah, we're transparent.
Then why can I still see you guys? Do I have 30/30 vision? Pablo and Uniqua walk up to the front door, but Tyrone is still quite nervous. However, the door is locked, and Tyrone tries to get the heck out of Dodge.
Looks like nobody's home.
Who do you think would even live there? Anyways, Uniqua remembers that since they're ghosts, they can float through doors. The three float through the door one by one, but isn't this giving kids the wrong message?
Not to mention the fact that they're literally trespassing.
The gang makes it into the haunted house, which is filled with old paintings and cobwebs. Pablo and Uniqua need an unsuspecting stranger to scare, but in the meantime they decide to practice their scaring skills. They urge Tyrone to do something spooky, but Tyrone plays it off, saying he can't think of anything. So Pablo decides to do his spooky antics, and he floats into a painting. You better hope no one puts that painting for sale. Pablo plans to scare Tyrone and Uniqua as they walk down the hall.
You guys walk by me, and I'll try to scare you.
Okay, I don't think Pablo understands common knowledge. It's not a prank if you warn someone first of what you're going to do to them. But even so, Pablo still manages to scare Tyrone and Uniqua. Uniqua is up next, and her plan is to float objects using her invisibility. Aren't you already able to do that? You're a chameleon. Also, is that a painting of Thomas Jefferson or George Washington? I don't know, but I probably shouldn't get into politics. But anyways, Uniqua turns invisible and holds a candle in the air so it looks like it's floating. Tyrone and Pablo walk into the room and are shocked to see the candle floating. Which again, why are they surprised by this? Uniqua literally told them her plan. Uniqua scares Tyrone and Pablo silly, but I know that Pablo is just showing off. Before Tyrone can get a chance to practice, the doorbell rings. Pablo and Uniqua use this as an opportunity to scare the unsuspecting stranger, and they hide behind the door. It turns out it's just Tasha. However, where did she even come from? Does she live near the haunted house? The three ghosts float out and try to scare her, but Tasha isn't even fazed. Tasha isn't even scared of the haunted house, and in her case, anything. They then start singing again, cause singing's
what we do.
Didn't have to cut me off there. Anyways, Uniqua is determined to scare Tasha, so she and Pablo suggest playing hide and go boo. It's like playing hide and seek, but scarier. But if they really wanted to make a scary game, they'd have to involve Freddy Fazbear, because no offense, but the Backyardigans are terrible at scaring people. Or animals in this case. They may think they're masterclass ghosts, but they're not. Tasha starts counting down from 10, which is total baloney since everyone knows that 10 seconds is way too short an amount of time to find a hiding spot. Pablo and Uniqua already know their plan, but Tyrone can't find a place to hide. He starts walking upstairs just as the third song ends, and he's still very nervous. And meanwhile, the time was ticking back and forth like... Pablo tries to scare Tasha, but fails. Uniqua then does her attempt. She floats a book in the air using her invisibility, however Tasha isn't even scared at all. But Pablo and Uniqua assure Tasha that Tyrone is really spooky.
Tyrone can scare you. He's really spooky.
Oh yeah, he's really spooky.
That's not called scaring, it's called lying through your non-existent teeth. Tasha calls out Tyrone's name, and apparently he still hasn't found a hiding spot. You're about as bad at hide-and-seek as Raleigh Jefferson. Tyrone starts singing When I'm Booin', which is just a knockoff to the 1920s song When You're Smilin'.
'Cause when I'm booing the other...
When did the ghosts ever laugh at you for not being scary? Like, throughout this whole episode, when did they ever laugh at you?
But I'm nervous.
Okay, there's two things I could laugh at you for. First off, you have your hands in your pockets even though you don't have pockets. Second, how do your feet tap so loudly if you aren't wearing shoes? Tyrone continues singing and starts dancing on the balcony, which is extremely dangerous. He also somehow dances on the side of the wall and on the ceiling. Well, I guess in the world of the Backyardigans, you can basically do anything. When Tyrone ends the song, he puts his hand against the wall and the wall shifts, leading him to this secret room. He bumps into a mirror and a white blanket falls on top of him. After seeing the mirror reflection, he thinks he's gotten captured by a ghost. However, he soon realizes that he is the ghost. When he hears the others outside, he plans to scare them. The wall shifts back and the three others get scared. That's right, even Tasha, who claims she wasn't afraid of anything. Tyrone then chases them around the haunted house, and while Pablo and Uniqua can float through the doors, Tasha can't, which leaves her stuck inside. She gets scared and runs in a closet, and Tyrone continues to scare her. However, his sheet falls off, and Uniqua and Pablo realize that it's not a ghost, it's only Tyrone. Tasha then comes out and admits that Tyrone actually frightened her, but that's probably not as frightening as what happens next.
It's great to be a ghost.
Okay, was that an actual ghost? Does that mean a real ghost actually lives at this haunted house? The four all get scared by this, and they run out of the haunted house and back to their typical unhaunted house. Well, unless you count the fact that there may be a real monster living in their actual house. Seriously, am I the only one who wonders what those blurry blobs are on their windows? So the Backyardigans episode ends here with their typical ending song, and then they head inside the house. And then the screen goes black and we go to the credits, but not before Tyrone scares Tasha one more time.
Boo!
Doesn't she already know it was Tyrone all along? So, I've officially reviewed the whole episode, but no episode review is complete without me summarizing. So I thought this was a good episode, and like I said in the beginning, it's always been a favorite of mine. I think the animators did a decent job on making this episode seem spooky. I mean, just look at all the cobwebs in this haunted house. All I have to say is I'm glad I'm not the one cleaning this place, and I know I don't have severe arachnophobia, but I'm not really a fan of spiders in general. Something that kind of surprised me was the fact that Tyrone for most of this episode was unconfident and just really spooked out. Honestly, I thought Tyrone was one of the more calm, cool, and collected characters on the show. However, in the end, he found fun in being a ghost. Tasha was cocky as always. I'm sure that either she was just afraid of ghosts to begin with, or she had just never seen one. But by the end, it had been proved that she was lying. Tasha was just trying to seem invincible, which I feel is normal for her in the series. But despite what the title suggests, is it really great to be a ghost? I mean, I guess it would be pretty cool, but the Backyardigans must really love it.
It's great to be a ghost.
It's great to be a ghost. It's great to be a ghost. It's great to be a ghost.
It's great to be a ghost. It's especially great if you're a ghost.
Great to be a ghost.
It's great to be a ghost. It's great to be a ghost.
It's great to be a ghost.
It's great to be a ghost. It's great to be a ghost.
So as you guys can tell, this is definitely considered one of my favorite episodes. What's your guys' favorite episode of the Backyardigans? Comment down below. Also remember to like, share, and subscribe. And again, thank you for 2,500 subscribers. I really appreciate it. Let's see when we can get to 3,000. Let's get to 3,000 by Halloween, okay? Alright, see ya.